guys, welcome to Christina Cakes It. I'm Christina and today I'm making a sea otter cake. So the reason I'm making this cake is because I have loved sea otters ever since I was in 5th grade, and for our field trip we went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. They have a bunch of sea otters out there and they're so cute and they've always been one of my favorite animals. And I knew I was gonna want to make a sea otter cake at some point, and I actually haven't really seen any out there. So this is my take on the sea otter cake. And you guys are gonna see I do have a frosted chocolate 4-layer 6-inch cake. So this is ready to go. And what I'm gonna do to get started is I'm just gonna start cutting out all my different fondant details. So for my sea otter, I'm going to use some tan marshmallow fondant. Actually, I used my marshmallow fondant recipe and I used mostly ivory, Americolor ivory, and just a tiny bit of brown to get this shade. So I did create a little template. If you guys watch my channel, you know that I often use templates for my cakes because I want to make sure that the size is going to come out correct, and I also like things to be symmetrical. So after I get this cut out, I am going to make little notches almost like the edges of fur. So I'm just cutting out tiny little notches here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use my dowel tool and I'm just making little indentations here. So a lot of this is going to be covered by the nose, so I'm not too worried about the lines lining up. You can also just kind of smooth it out like that. So I'm going to set that aside and I am going to work on my little otter's nose. I'm going to go ahead and cut out some eyes, also using black fondant. And I want the eyes pretty small, so I'm just using the underside of an icing tip. That circle is like the perfect size. So I'm going to go ahead and roll out some darker brown fondant for my otter's ears. And sea otters have actually pretty small ears, so I might change the size depending. I'm also going to cut out some little arms. I want my sea otter to be holding a seashell. So as I mentioned, I'm going to have my sea otter holding a seashell. So I'm using a silicone mold for this. And I'm just going to put a little cornstarch in here. This is going to help the fondant not to stick. So now I'm going to go ahead and start placing my fondant pieces on. So this is actually a relatively simple cake. I would say this is like pretty low level, like a beginner could definitely do it. So to make sure the ears stick out, I'm actually going to put some cake pop sticks just under them. So I am going to add just a few details using black buttercream. And the very last thing I'm going to do is just add a little border down here just to clean it up. All right, my sea otter cake is complete, and I think it turned out really cute. It's a super simple design, and I also think that my 5th grade self would be very excited about this cake. And I hope that you guys also enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel.